Good morning, good afternoon, good day to everyone that's watching this. My name is Tabita Mncube, and I am a part of the Heritage STEM Camp team based in Africa. As the US camps are underway, we are also busy here on our side, trying to get our candidates ready, our future ambassadors ready for a camp. And this year we decided to do things a bit differently. So instead of just accepting the applications as they come, we wanted to also take the opportunity to just meet these candidates, these future ambassadors, and just get to know them more and just understand exactly their state of mind and their expectations coming towards the camp. So today we have one of our interviewees that's joining us, or that accepted to join us. Her name is Tabita Mncube. She applied for the camp, and we're just going to be doing the interview with her. So I'd just like to welcome her to the screen. Hi, Tabita.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, and you?
I'm doing well. Again, I must say thank you for, just choosing to do this interview and, have it published. It does take a lot of guts, and it does take a lot of courage to choose to publish your interview, but I believe that you'll do well. I do believe you do well. But in any case, without any further ado, I just want to know, tell me about yourself. Introduce yourself, your name, where you come from, where you're currently staying, what school you go to, your aspirations. Just give a brief introduction about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Tabita Mncube, aged 17. I am currently in grade 12 in United Church School. I stay in Johannesburg right now, and I was born in Johannesburg. I'm currently studying in matric, of course, to do either law or teaching. And my first option is teaching, mostly because I enjoy helping people, seeing them grow, seeing them develop into greater people. And law is also part of it because, in other words, I'm helping people, when it comes to their matters, whether it's marriage, whether it's criminal law, and all that. And as a side piece, like hobbies, I like dancing, reading books, stuff like that, things that help me to, yes.
Wow, that's lovely. It's almost like a switch, I like it how on the one side, professionally you have something set, but on the side you have something also set that's totally different, more on the creative side. I totally love it. I love it. It's like you're multidimensional, and that's really good. I'll get back to what you're saying a bit later, but I just want to find out from you as well, what sparked your interest, or what motivated you or encouraged you to apply for our Heritage STEM camps this year?
When I went to the website, I read all about it. I went to the Instagram page, I read all about it, and I saw it as an opportunity to grow myself in my field of interest, to have people that are like-minded, like-minded individuals who will help each other, help me grow, and hopefully get some tips and advice there and there, on how to carry myself out when it comes to my career choices or my interest when I'm done with the bootcamp.
Wow, that's lovely. So you did a bit of research of your own. That's really nice. I commend you for that. On that topic, right? As you've made us in on our sites and as well as on our websites, one of the major things that we tend to focus on with all our ambassadors is, training and just honing leadership skills, because we believe, everyone has that ability, and, just putting them in the environment to just expose themselves or just bring it out of them, right? So based on that, what okay, do you have experience? Have you ever been in a leadership position? If you have, just describe us or give us a brief explanation of what that was like. How did you go through it? If you haven't really been in a leadership position, then just describe to us what you think would make a great leader.
Okay, currently I am the deputy head girl in my school. I was the deputy head girl last year too. So last year it was very tricky, I'm not gonna lie. Having to handle grade 11 work and having to handle my responsibilities, it was tough, not going to lie. But then I learned that in order to succeed, you just have to balance. Don't focus on certain things. You know, let's say my responsibilities more, I'm focusing more on them and neglecting my schoolwork. It kind of just doesn't work out. And being a leader, I've learned that it's not about you ruling, it's more about you inspiring others or your followers to a common goal, you know, having to support them, hearing them out, you know, getting to know them, understanding them so that you achieve that certain goal you guys have. And yeah, that's what I've learned in my 2 years experience of being a leader.
Wow, that, I relate so much to that because, back in high school, the glory days, I was also in a position of leadership, and it was tough. Starting from grade 11, just like yourself, and all the way to matric. It actually got worse when it got to matric for some reason, because as a leader, you have expectations, and as a student as well, you have expectations. So balancing the two is tricky, in the beginning, but you learn to cope as you go. So I really relate to that a lot. Touching also in terms of what you mean about being a leader, for your definition of a leader and putting others first, and not putting yourself first. At the camps, should you make it, you will notice that a lot of our activities will require you to work in groups, right? So experiments will be conducted in groups. You will form business groups. So everything is all related to group work. How well would you describe yourself in a team setting, or what role would you describe that you play in a team setting? For example, in a team, you obviously get those who are better at giving ideas. In a team, you also get those who are better at executing ideas. Like, okay, give me the idea, we'll put it into motion, action steps like that. What role would you say you typically play in a group setting?
Okay, so in my school, I was lucky enough to, we had some group work. We had like a program that they had brought to us to work in a group and all that, and taught us more about teamwork and all that. And what I learned about myself is I'm more of the person who gives ideas, but more in a subtle way. I'll give the ideas, okay, fine. But then if I feel like there's an idea that is a bit off, I don't know if you understand, I will not just brush it off. I'm like, okay, let me just keep quiet. It's an idea. I'll just advise. Go, maybe be like, okay, maybe she's right. And maybe we should do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And maybe we should lay it out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm more of the, I can't say corrector, but then I don't keep my opinions. I'm not someone who can keep their opinions. I give out my opinions, but in a very subtle way, in a very good way. I make sure it's respectful. I make sure that it is heard and all that.
Yeah, that's actually for me, obviously having experience also in group work, the role that you obviously described is also important because, we obviously as a team, everyone will have ideas, but, sometimes people don't really think the ideas through as to the pros and cons, whether it will work or whether it won't work. So having that person around that actually analyzes the ideas in such a sense to be like, okay, how can we apply this practically? It's a really important role, as important as executing it. We also have people who are more stronger at following up on the action steps to be like, okay, did you do this? Did you do that? So I would say, the role that you just described, to be honest, I don't know if it has a name, if there's a proper term for it, but it's actually a very important role. And, I commend you for that. It's all part of the team. Still on the topic of teamwork, right? I'll give you a scenario, okay? And it's perfect for the role you just described. You're obviously discussing a business idea, you and your group, and you pick up that a few of your team members are clashing in ideas. You get the one that's really stubborn about the idea, or just one that feels like they're not being heard in the team, or let's just say that there's a lot of conflict that's going on in the team, right?
Okay.
And with that conflict, also thinking about getting the work done. So this is like a two-way question. First question is, how do you or how would you deal with conflict within a team? And secondly, how well do you handle pressure in terms of getting work done within a time frame?
Okay, with conflict, I'm more of a person who will try talking to the stubborn one first, like, okay, talk, you can talk your ideas, talk what you want to say, speak, and then maybe pause a bit and let her or him speak. And then see where you guys are clashing and figure out why you're clashing and see which one is more better. And of course, we have other teammates there, so maybe they could also, give their input and like, okay, yeah, maybe she's right, or yeah, maybe you're wrong, you should consider this and that and that. And then in times of pressure, I deal with pressure pretty well. I don't wanna lie. I am more of I work well under pressure rather when I'm relaxed. So let's say, let's say it's it's the holidays right now. I don't have the motivation because I don't have the pressure. I'm not saying I don't do anything, but the motivation is not there because I'm not pressurized. But give me a time frame and set that, okay, we have to do this at this time. I am all in. I will make sure that it's done by that time.
Wow.
I work well under pressure.
Okay, you're a go-getter. I like that. I like that. I would also love to see that in practice, because I can assure you it gets intense, and I'm not gonna lie, we've had great minds in one team, and the pressure was on, like it's really really on. But I really really love to see that in action. Okay, so we coming to a close of our interview. Just for the last few questions, I just wanna close in more on the camp, right? So this year, as you know, or as I would assume that you know, our camp is a foodpreneur and engineering venture capital bootcamp. So in simple words, we'll be focusing more on the science behind food, understanding more about where our food comes from, and obviously going in depth, the business behind food, the policies behind food, and just so much about it. What would you say is your relationship currently with when it comes to food? Like, do you just know food as you cook and eat? Would you say that you like to experiment with food? Are you a baker? Are you more into cooking? What's your relationship, or how would you describe your relationship with food?
Okay, the timing is actually perfect because I currently entered a program where I have to count, my calories and all that when it comes to food. See that, okay,
Wow.
this type of food is good for me, this type
No
of food is
way.
not good for me. Yeah, it's because I had a recent injury and my physio keeps on telling me you have to check what you eat and see how it contributes to your health and all that, and look through in it, because even when we talk, we mostly talk about what's behind this, where this food is from, how they make it. It's more of me knowing what's really in the food and what makes the food in general. That's why
Wow.
I'm saying it's actually perfect timing.
Wow. I I honestly would have never guessed that. But hey, fate God brings us together in these things, and we know we obviously just need to thank him. So wow, that's truly amazing. I must say that's utterly amazing. I actually love that. Um, but aside from that, what are your expectations for the camp? You know, now obviously understanding that this is going to be a food camp, you being in a position that you want to learn more because of, you know, health reasons and medical reasons. What are your expectations? What are you expecting to see at the camp? What are you expecting to do at the camp? Like just describe that.
Okay, firstly, I'm hoping to learn from people who are experienced, you know, people with experience like mentors and such, helping to gain some knowledge that I can walk out with and have pride that, okay, I know this and that, and it'll help me in 1, 2, 3. And I'm also hoping to learn from the people I'll hopefully work with, you know,
Mm-hmm.
getting to work with people from different places. They definitely have different types of knowledge, different types of
Mm-hmm.
characters, you know, learning from them and being able to adapt maybe 1 or 2 good things from them. And overall, just hoping to uplift my skills, develop
Mm-hmm.
them, and all that. Yes.
Wow. I must say I'm excited now because I feel, you know, not only with you, but with other candidates that we have spoken to thus far, there is definitely an expectation. And I'm just excited, you know, to just see everyone that comes there, you know, those that get accepted, how they will just react and, you know, how they will feel. I'm more interested at how they are before they leave the camp than I am when they arrive, because I know our camps truly change people, if I should just say that, to say the least. Um, but yeah, that is it from my end. I don't know if you have any other questions that you'd like to ask, or if there's just something that you're curious about. You know, you said that you had a look in our sites. Is there anything in particular that you want us to
Actually,
elaborate on?
prepare like 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so are there any skills or knowledges that one should have before attending the boot camp, or like should I have to know something, a certain thing before attending, or stuff like that?
If I have to be honest, the best thing you could bring to the camp, one, is an open mind. A lot of things that we do is not the things that you find or that you would usually do at school. So most of the time, all of the ambassadors have or are put in a position that's, you know, outside their comfort zone. Coming with an open mind to learn and to receive, um, taking the time to actually know yourself, understanding what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and, you know, putting yourself to a place whereby you want to work more on your weaknesses than your strengths. Um, and yeah, just come ready, come excited, you know, ready to learn. That's definitely what I would say that you need, you know, for our camps, definitely.
Okay, and is there like a criteria where you're considered successful for this at the end? Like, okay, she did very well, or no, he did very bad, you know, stuff like that.
Well, as with every interview, there is always a criteria. You may not know this, but you know, I'm not the only one that's watching you. I have other counselors that are present in this meeting that are also listening to all your answers. And all the questions that are asked were based on a certain criteria that we're following. Obviously, I can't tell you now because that would be obviously giving it away. But there is definitely a criteria that we are um focused on in these interviews and that we are assessing you on. Um, but you don't have to worry about it. Just be yourself. You know, most of the answers that you gave, I would say, are brilliant. You know, you gave really brilliant answers. So I really can't give much because I'll be giving it away. But one thing I can tell you, we do have a criteria, and based on that criteria, um, obviously those that do better are definitely the ones that we will um are the ones that we will obviously that will be successful, and the ones that don't quite meet the minimum requirements that we have set, unfortunately they won't be. But yeah, we do have a criteria and we do have minimum requirements that we are assessing you on. That's the most I can say. If I give it away, I'm going to be spoiling it for others, but
Yeah.
that's what I can say.
Thank you so much.
Right, is that it? Are you sure you don't have any other questions? You ready? You set?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Tabita, once again, I'd just like to thank you for showing up. You showing up for this meeting already, tells us a lot. And, having the courage or, the willingness to not only be in this interview, but to also allow us to publish this interview also tells us a lot. So I want to thank you for that again. You will be hearing from us either before or on the 1st of August as to whether your application is successful and as to whether we'll be seeing you in December. So please be on the lookout. Your email, we also have one of your parents' emails, so we will definitely be sending it to both. But yeah, aside from that, I'd like to thank you once again, and you will hear from us soon. All right?
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Yes, and that is the end of our interview. That's pretty much how we've been interviewing all of our candidates thus far. And as I told Tabita, we definitely do have a criteria that we have set that we're using to assess all the candidates. So we are not just, selecting them based on our feelings or how the impression that they've given us. We have a strict criteria that we're following. But aside from that, thank you everyone for tuning in and for watching. And I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Bye.